Testing. Good afternoon. I hope we're starting to stream. Sorry I'm a little late. I have to go through these security measures. So I hope I'm broadcasting. So do let me know if you can see and hear me okay. There we go. It's popped on now. So that's good. Sorry about that. It's just I have to go through two-factor authentication now, as you can understand. So let me know in the chat if you can see and hear me okay. I'll just get outside my personal stuff and into the scanner. So please let me know in the chat if you can see and hear me okay. This is the video here. Oh no, it's not. So it's a bit of a delay. Thank you very much, Paul. Appreciate that. So I've got all of your comments on a separate device. That way I can keep track of you and acknowledge your interest. So sorry for the slight delay. It's just extra caution required. So it's a tough coupon today. No bones about that. We've got a London derby. Barcelona, yet a Champions League side, struggling. 0-0 at half time. Real Madrid lost last night. Hi, Nick. Hi, Bosun. Nice to see you all. So Barcelona 0-0 at half time. The draw, well, you're not going to get much out of that. There we go. I can hear myself now. So let me just turn that off. So what I've done with Barcelona, I've upped it from £40 from 20 to 40, laying over 0.5 goals. I'm hoping this will be like the Real Madrid Espanyol match last night. A long period of 0-0. Leipzig, who else? Aston Villa losing. Real Madrid losing. All of these, one thing in common. Hi, Stephen. Nice to see you. All Champions League sides. 0-0 at half time for a 1.17 shot. Guess what they were doing midweek? Champions League. So I'm hoping I can get the draw a lot lower. I've laid over 0.5 goals. I'll write this off if we get an early goal. But the technique has worked very well so far. I've had some really... we had it with Burnley, didn't we? We laid that 0-0 late on in the Burnley match. But we didn't get any response from it. And it broke even. I did it in another... I think it was the Barnsley match as well. Didn't get a response. Broke even. So it's a good little technique. It's probably going to be a good technique, would you argue? For a 1-1 at half time. That might be a good angle, mightn't it? Nothing much doing with these early kickoffs. Derby style match, Ajax and final, top four clash. So in and of itself, that's going to be a tricky one. We've got Arsenal and Man City, don't we, today? That's a tricky one. We've got Manchester United, who nobody can read at the moment. Which Man U turns up? Their form is, well, if you look at it in isolation, it's awful. The recent win against Southampton, I mean, come on. They're showing 3 consecutive wins. But Steaua Bucharest, whoop-de-doo-dah. Fulham, just a single goal. Rangers, you're expected to beat Rangers. Brighton, that's more in keeping with struggles for United. And, well, they didn't play Stoke. That was a test fixture. So it's a difficult one. Tottenham and Brentford is a London derby. And Ivan Postecoglou is still the manager. Well, this just Starmer's Britain. That's what that's all about. Lord knows how he's got his job. Maybe he's got pictures of the chairman in ladies' undergarments or something. Because it's like Ruud van Nistelrooy. How on earth is he a football manager? The mind boggles. So these are the early kickoffs. Not getting much change here. It's the favourite leading, so I think we can get rid of that. Kaiserslautern, Preußen Munster. Well, 0-0 at half time. If you were tempted to lay that 0-0, well done. A couple of 0-0s recently for Preußen Munster. One of them in a friendly, one of them in the Bundesliga 2. But you'd probably be favouring Kaiserslautern's look. No draw in 5. But it's already gone by the by, that one. Hanover, 3rd and 6th, top 6 clash. Plenty of shots off target might tempt you in. And Ajax have the lead against Feyenoord, but as I say, it's a Derby star match. So while it's a little quiet, let's collect our odds on favourites. Probably done that already. You can see with the stars. Osijek have taken the lead against DZ. Again, post-European Dinamo Zagreb. So we've got that cloud hanging over us. And Preußen Munster have equalised late on. And Hanover have taken the lead against Hamburg late on. Top 6 clash, that one. Looking at the head-to-heads, you can see Dinamo Zagreb involved in Europe in the Champions League. And it's been a graveyard this weekend. So this, we're going to have to make sure that Dinamo Zagreb are in a going mood today. So in-play stats will be vital here. I don't think I'll take Osijek on. Hi, Tads. Nice to see you. I don't think I'll take Osijek on at the moment. Look at Real Madrid yesterday. What I did yesterday with Real Madrid, I did actually lay over 1.5 goals, quite a very high liability. And then I backed Real Madrid +1. I would have made 30 quid with an equaliser, but thankfully it ended 1-0 and I broke even. But that, well, with that team, it's obviously the Champions League that has really hit these sides. Second half begins, Barca and Alaves. 1.17 after the 7-goal haul. If you fancied it, you could always have a look. 3-0, 3-1, any other home, up to you. I'm waiting and hoping it will remain 0-0 long enough for these draw odds to get short enough for me to lay with a full stake of 40 quid, because I've already taken that out. Covered unders at the moment. It's a technique where you're going to have to take the hit now and again on this, and you have to time yourself, because you saw yesterday, I think the St. Mirren match, I didn't lay the draw in time and we got the goal. I did lay the draw in time in the Real Madrid match, but I had to cash out because Espanyol scored first, and the draw was very, very short still. I got out with a profit though, about 3 quid, rather than a better 20 odd quid had Real Madrid got the win or got the goal. So that's our first potential play of the day. Fiorentina have scored against Genoa. They are a very solid unit, particularly from September onwards, where they put together that exceptional winning run. It's a tough match to call. We can, with the luxury of time and with some tough matches, we can do a little soccer stats look at Fiorentina and Genoa to see whether they can hold on to this win or this lead. Juve early kickoff. I missed that one. I was helping my brother make sure that his Kraken website had all of the protection that's available to it. I haven't finished with him yet because he has to two-factor authenticate his email address that's linked to the account. So if any of you have a Kraken account, I know how to make sure it's as safe as you can get it. So please do contact me. I'll take you through the steps. So you can see, look at that September for October for Fiorentina. Exceptional stuff. Wheels have fallen off a little bit now, but they're back to an unbeaten streak and an impressive win against Lazio, who have been a pretty good side. Genoa, well, only 2 defeats since the 4th of November. Pretty solid, losing to Napoli and Roma. So this might not be over. Interesting. We want to see a reaction from Genoa here. They look in very impressive form, far above what I expected of them. But the fact of the matter is they've yet to beat the top 9 side home and away. This, like Nottingham Forest against 11th and lower. This is where they're picking up all of their wins. Majority of them against 16th and lower. So it looks impressive, but put it into context, they've just had an easy run of late against relegation threatened sides. So you always have to check the challenge table when you're checking form out, because this now doesn't look appealing. This does, doesn't it? Only losing to Napoli and Roma, but they've been playing rubbish sides, generally speaking. Fiorentina, well, they're unbeaten at home against 11th and lower, but they do tend to score and concede. Hamburg and Hanover is a 2-2. We might have a late Desmond there. But let's just make sure we got our odds-ons. I think Fiorentina odds-on favourite there. Nice to see the Czech one leg back, but don't forget, the two Pragues will have been involved in European competition. London derby, totally unreadable. As I say, it's a very, very tough coupon. And then we've got that derby-style match, Arsenal against Man City, which could be a nervy affair. It could be a PSG versus Man City type match where it's an absolute goal fest. Bristol Rovers and Peterborough I had a look at in the review preview video. And again, it doesn't offer much to us. Toulouse and Nice, 2.4 the favourite. It's a tough old coupon, isn't it, today? Look, 2.2. Wow. And this is a derby-style match as well, Marseille and Lyon. Eintracht Frankfurt, well, they should be getting the better of the Wolf, but they are post-European club competition yet again. Bayer Leverkusen, do expect that goal before halftime if they turn up. Hamburg and Hanover, let's have a look at the live standings, see whether that win for either of these two sides will be compelling. Well, Hamburg and Hanover is a top 6 clash. Hamburg with an additional 2 points will go top on goal difference. So vital. Hanover with an additional 2 points will move themselves up to a top 4 berth, only 1 point behind the promotion playoff place. This is the automatic promotion spot for Hamburger. So that's plenty of motivation. They have come back, but they're not really a bit lukewarm because it probably is a top 6 clash. That's why they're a bit lukewarm. But old Dompe. Dompe's got the late goal. Can they push for the win, which could take them top? So let's just have a look at the Hanover match. All the while, hoping that Alaves will frustrate the bleep out of Barcelona like Espanyol did against Real Madrid. That was 0-0 for a very long period of time. You can see 2 spikes in the volume. And if I can get below 4s, keep that going down, the more profit I'll make if this does not end in a score draw. So we're up to 12 quid there. And we're up to 55p. So the market's expecting goals. That's why this is so tepid in its movement. So if I can get this down to 3.5 or something, it might be worth my while. Normally I do £20 stakes here, but because it's Barcelona, I thought I'd just up them a bit. Hanover and Hamburg could be a 109, 106. Could go top with a win, but we've got a long way to go, 1.39 odds. So I'll just wait on that one a little bit. A couple of odds on of favourites at home and not having a good time of it. Well, that's a red card to Paderborn. So that's the one of interest. We'll go top with a win. Talk about motivation. So I'm going to delay and come in late. Look at this. 27 shots off target for these two. Outstanding stuff. Only the 1 shot on target for Barcelona. This is got Champions League hangover written all over it, hasn't it? We can look at yesterday's matches and you can see the carnage. We should have got out, really, shouldn't we, in that Aston Villa Wolves match, because when you do insurance on that, you can get out of both markets for a break even before the match ends. Really, Aston Villa didn't turn up. But we want to have a look at yesterday's carnage for Champions League sides. It was awful for the majority of them. Liverpool took a while, but Champions League Aston Villa And this is what you don't want when you take out insurance, a late winner. We did have a VAR goal disallowed, which was a pity. But I did come away with a profit last night. Cunha, the absolute Cunha, 97th minute. So should have got out really around here, 90th minute or thereabouts. You don't want to be done by a 2-0 when you've taken insurance out. It's okay when you do both teams to score. No. Any other European sides? Not really. Germany, I think PSG, no, they're okay. Monaco were losing. Lille only got the win thanks to the red card. They were struggling a little bit in that match. Bayern Munich conceded 3 goals at 1.04. Oh boy. Dortmund managed the win, but Leipzig failed to score. Stuttgart losing, both Champions League sides. So you get the idea with them. That was a play I did yesterday, thanks to John H's both teams to score. No, I didn't pass it on to you because it was a little bit too complicated to speak about. But you can see that 0-2. I actually backed both teams to score no at 5.5 at half time. I also backed 1-2 as well. I could have got out of here with a profit, definitely out of here with a profit. I did actually get out of here with a £65 profit minus my lost insurance. The profit on this was something like 140 quid. So I was absolutely gutted that I didn't stay in for the win. We've had Nice scoring away at Toulouse. So European football yesterday. Look at that, PSV Eindhoven not winning. So you get the idea. That's why I'm a bit lukewarm today. Look at this one. Espanyol. A late 1-0. Amazing stuff for Espanyol. Romero. But they couldn't reply, even though it was an exceptional Real Madrid side. Mbappe, Bellingham, Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo, Ceballos, Valverde. Wow. So you get the idea. Champions League sides like Barcelona could struggle today when you don't expect them to struggle. They should be spanking the life out of Alaves today. But look at this. We're at Alaves, 18th in the league. And there's hair flick from the Gestapo. Hello, hello, the manager of Barcelona. Hanover, I'm going to probably wait. I'm quite happy to delay. The motivation is huge, isn't it, for them? So what you can do, you can place that 1.09 to win 32 and 1.06. Oh, done it the wrong way around. 1.09 to win 23. Keep that to 2 quid. 1.06 to win 32. Keep that to under 2 quid. So we've got that waiting for us. The motivation is huge for Hamburg. If I've got it right, they will go top with a winner. They've already come from behind from 1-2 to make it 2-2. Add another 2 points, should be going top on goal difference. Keep your liability as low as possible because the clock is not our friend. But motivation is absolutely huge here. Let's just hope that pressure of 17 shots off target can convert into a couple of shots on target. Let's have a look at Barcelona while I've been waiting. So let's have a look. Have a look at Barcelona Alaves while I've been waiting. We're getting this down lower and lower. Oh, that's the wrong way round. It's liability because £2.64 there. I got £39.20 instead of my usual £20. That means I can up my stake, and that's moving up to 15 quid now. We've got no real leg to stand on when the market expects such an emphatic win. The draw odds are going to be huge. You just have to sit on your hands and hope that Alaves can frustrate them for as long as Espanyol frustrated Real Madrid yesterday. Castellón have caught my eye in Spanish Segunda League, but L, 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 L. You're going to trust a side with an L, 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 L in their recent form lines. Note their league position. It's desperation stakes for Castellón. 60 dangerous attacks to 18. That's what caught my attention as well. Very tight stats with just a 1-0 lead for 3.7 away side Huesca. So the side 17th in the league are actual favourites here. Castellón against Huesca. Can you trust them? The dangerous attacks are amazing, must be said. Every moment that there's no goal, we're going to be making more of a profit if this match does not end in a score draw. Now, you could just operate it like this and see if you can make some green just in this by laying over 0.5 goals in the unexpected chance that this ends 0-0. 1.14 lay. It's already up to 1.24. But they look like they're starting to warm up a little bit now. 4 shots off target, 58-58. So I think it might be an inevitable goal. But when? You can see the robbery of the bookmakers putting the odds for the draw at 3s when you can get 3.4 with Betfair. That's probably the goal now. Or is it the Hamburg goal? I would like that. Waiting. Hope. That's probably the Barca one which I've missed. There it is. Yeah, there it is. So I missed it. I could have made about 11 quid there, but there's nothing I can do with a match like this unless you just want to lay the draw and hope for the best. So I missed out there, which was a pity. I wish that was a suspend for this match, but not to be. Don't forget the motivation for Hamburg. They go top with a win. Can they pull it off? So Barca, it was inevitable. It was coming. Don't forget your options at 1.17, 3-0, 3-1, any other home score. So I missed out the lay the draw there. It was a bit of an ask, but I would have got more value, wouldn't I, by delaying from 4.5 down to 3.4 or 3.5 as it was. Let's have a look at Castellón, Huesca. Why are Castellón favourite? They're 17th in the league, 5 consecutive defeats. Why on earth are they favourite today? Keeping Huesca quiet. So let's have a look. Five consecutive defeats. It's all dependent on where these defeats occurred. If they're suddenly playing the top 4, top 5, then you'll understand. But look at Huesca's recent form. It's very tough to oppose them, isn't it? But they have only scored that single goal in the last 3 away matches. 5 clean sheets in the last 6 matches as well. Tough nut to crack, Huesca. Well, Castellón, I don't know why they're favourite at all. Maybe it's down to Huesca's struggles against the relegation-threatened sides here. Failed to score that second goal against 9th and lower. So trusting is the problem here. Despite that's very impressive, 61 dangerous attacks. They've pretty much bossed the momentum, haven't they? They've not really let the away side get ahead of them momentum-wise, apart from that little peak there. But it's looking, well, do you trust them or not? That's the thing. I'm getting tempted, but wow, it's a tricky one. FC20 are looking good against Go Ahead Eagles, but yet another one of those 2.45, the favourite matches with Go Ahead Eagles unbeaten in the last 5, albeit one of them was a friendly, one of them was a cup match. Groningen, Fortuna Sittard and NAC Breda. We can have a look at this one while it's a quiet afternoon. You taken by Castellón? That is the question. it would all be down to Huesca's awful form against ninth and lower. But they're beating Racing Santander, who were made a profit with yesterday, and Elche, but they've only scored 2 goals or more on 2 occasions away. They're unbeaten in 4 away. It's very tricky, isn't it? Why on earth a Castillon favourite? They beat Cartagena, beat Malaga 2-0, which was an impressive result because they're 12th in the league. They scored 2 goals against Granada. They scored 2 against Levante. Did they have a second half scoring record, Castillon? But watch out for Huesca's last 15 minutes. If they can breach this 60-minute mark, they've scored 6 goals in the last half hour of home matches. But Huesca are late finishers. 73% of their goals scored away have come second half. So it's you could get that second goal from them. This one was scored 5th minute. So arguably a good defensive display so far from Castillon, but no reason for me why they are favourite. I don't understand that one at all. Have a look at Go Ahead Eagles and 20, but do be warned, it's 2.45 the favourite. You get involved in those matches, don't be surprised if you lose your dough. Go Ahead Eagles and 20. Oh, sorry, soccer stats. That's where we're going to have a look at that one. So there's nothing at all here to suggest why Castillon favourite, apart from Huesca's. Well, the Spuds have scored first in the London derby. Now, Brentford's record in London derbies tending to be both teams to score. That tends to be the record, both teams to score. I showed you that in the review preview video this morning. The Spuds, do they have James Maddison back? Because if they do, that is a huge, huge bonus. So we can have a look at that one. It's not going to be in our odds on list, which is here. I haven't quite finished it yet. So let me just continue down. Odds on Brentford, a goal down. Man United. Let's just get some more odds ons, because you saw yesterday how useful this method is of finding trades. Bayer Leverkusen. That's Goztepe's goal disallowed. Olympiacos odds on. So I think we've got the vast majority of our odds ons that we need today. Serie B, 2.05, just a fraction of odds against. Sparta Rotterdam, AZ Alkmaar. So it's a tricky one. 20 on paper look excellent. Well, no, in-play stats look excellent for an equaliser, but you just don't know. The Chavs kicking off 1.83 at home. Craiova, probably going to be in a liquid market there. And we've got, of course, the 2 SPL matches. And Barcelona taking the lead. Should have really done it, shouldn't I? You're not going to make much of a profit, but that would have been about 11, 12 quid. Risk-free lay of the draw. 2-0 for Fiorentina. That might be a good entry point if Genoa can continue their excellent recent form. As you can see, Goztepe just had a goal disallowed as 1.5 home favourite. So while I'm doing this, why don't you check out the in-play stats for Goztepe in the Turkish Super League? Do they look as if they'll get that equaliser? You could still now have a go if you want, but the insurance will be very high. We'll check the Spuds out very soon. They're about as trustworthy as an Arthur Daly motor, aren't they? Awful under Postecoglou. But do check your team news. Is James Maddison back? He was injured and against Leicester, and they paid a big price for his set-piece skills, crossing skills, and his corner skills. Really makes the team tick in that midfield, and is a class act, James Maddison. hopefully he's back for the Spuds if they are to look for a win today. So I'll just finish this. Göztepe, do look out for them. Once you have a team with a goal disallowed, it does suggest, particularly when they're 1.5 at home, we might have a chance at an equaliser here. La Liga Portugal, Sporting Lisbon, Benfica, both involved, I would suspect, in European club competition earlier on this week. So another pair of potentially vulnerable sides. You've seen them dropping down like flies. Once you notice that pattern and notice it early enough, it can save you a bit of dough, can't it? You have to get your in-play stats to help you decide what kind of a mood these teams are in. Swiss Super League, no. Jagiellonia, 5-0. Turkish 1 League, no real odds-ons there. And Medsport is 2 illiquid, I would suspect. That's all our odds-ons. So they're all going in here. And we can just check the team news for Tottenham and also the in-play stats for Brentford. Don't forget, you do have that both teams to score element in Brentford matches. Spurs goal was an own goal, says Stephen. So thank you very much for that, Stephen. Another vital piece of the jigsaw. Thank you very much, Stephen. There we go. That's been confirmed. Looking at the lineups, so that could suggest that Tottenham are gettable. Richarlison up front today, Son behind him. Moore, he's starting to bring this more out, isn't he? We've probably got an injury still for James Maddison, calf injury. That's a big, big miss. Dominic Solanke, big miss as well. Timo Werner, well, he couldn't hit a cow's arse with a banjo. He's not a big miss at all. Udogie has impressed as well. Dragusin, not the greatest defender on the planet, and he's got a man bun as well. So, you know, should give him a yellow card just for having a man bun, really. So it's not the first 11, and it's an own goal. Thanks, Stephen, for confirmation of that. We're looking at Brentford. I want to see if we're going to get a reaction from Brentford, and that looks so good. Okay, doesn't it? 2 shots on 5 off and 3 corners. I might play this, but it is a London derby. Second half beginning. Go ahead and FC20. I might play that as well, but just want to have a look at Go Ahead's season. I don't like playing 2.45 the favourite. I told you it was a tricky coupon today, and this is the reasoning. 2.45 the favourite. London derby. Big derby style match, Arsenal, Man City. It's all very, very tricky, isn't it, today? Another derby style match, Ajax Feyenoord. 2.45-20, who you normally would trust. Barcelona, post-Champions League, huffing and puffing against Alaves at 1.17. Keep an eye on Göztepe. We'll have to get to them soon because they had that goal disallowed. They're only a goal down, aren't they? Go Ahead. Well, it's all dependent. 3 consecutive away defeats for 20, but note PSV Eindhoven and AZ Alkmaar. Did they equalise against NAC Breda? No, they didn't. They conceded 2 consecutive goals. Go Ahead. Well, we did get an equaliser there, and we did get an equaliser there. That's what the only thing we're after. Got an equaliser there as well. That's the only thing we're after as a trader. We don't want that 0-2 lead unless they come back and get the win. Who they're playing today? Don't forget. Go Ahead took a 2-0 lead in the 33rd minute. So some revenge on the cards for FC20, but 3 consecutive away defeats, all dependent on where in the league they were getting beaten. You can see a real pattern against the top 6 away, failing to win, in fact, losing the lot. Go Ahead Eagles 3-2 win, as you know, last time. But Go Ahead Eagles record, generally speaking, against the top 6 is awful. That 3-2. So they lost 3-2 to 20. Yeah, because 20 came from behind. So their record is awful. They've got a both teams to score pattern as well without winning. This is tempting, but 2.45 the favourite is very, very off-putting. So I might have to grit my teeth and have a go here, but writing the cash off. You could go neutral, of course, backing overs. That's an option, because that way the next goal you would capture. So that's always an option. Think neutral. Neutral does not commit you to one particular side. So if you want to join me in this, be prepared to write off your stake, because I do not like playing 2.45 the favourite. I'm playing this on the basis that the in-play stats are looking good for 20. They came from behind to get the win. I will stick, and this is also a warning to you. Anything above 1.8 in this +1 market is dangerous. So this, you can hear I'm not passing this on to Telegram, but if we can get an equaliser, that would be good. So my money's waiting there. I don't want to be caught out with an equaliser. It's not the most liquid market on the planet, £18 matched. So you're going to have to take your medicine, I'm afraid. And there's a 12-second delay, which is a negative. Just put the old vibration plate on. So you can see the reward is excellent, but it goes with the risk, doesn't it? So we've just got to hope that the momentum remains with 20. Don't forget they conceded 2 consecutive goals against Go Ahead last time these two met and came from behind to get the win. So 6 shots on, but nothing second half. So maybe I'm a little bit, I've fallen into the trap of looking at the first half and expecting it to be the same in the second. So it's not something we should do. Brentford are starting to light up. They do have a both teams to score pattern against London opponents, and the only London opponent they've beaten twice is Crystal Palace. This is not the Tottenham of that 3-1 home win in September 2024, is it? Maddison's absence is huge. Own goal for Tottenham is a big negative for them. Again, it's a tricky Sunday. Do you really want to waste your money in a London derby? That is the problem. It is tempting to take Tottenham on, particularly with that Brentford record, which I'll show you. So don't forget, if you're umming and ahhing like I am, neutral could be an avenue. All you need at 0-1 to back over 2.5 goals, hopefully at near evens. If you get an equaliser or if you get a second Tottenham goal, then you will profit, as long as it's scored up to about the 70th minute. So that is an impressive win. 2-2 against Man City. Brilliant stuff. Failing to score against Liverpool, that's not ashamed. And Arsenal as well. And top 4, Nottingham Forest. But Tottenham, Richarlison scoring first. We took that one on, didn't we? But we didn't get that third goal for the Spuds. And this was a local derby. And again, scoring first. But Dominic Solanke's not playing today. Wolves and then an equaliser. Tottenham lead and then a Wolves equaliser. So they do look gettable, don't they? They look very gettable. Just remind you of Brentford's London form. Both teams to score, losing. Both teams to score, losing. Both teams to score, losing. Both teams to score, winning against Crystal Palace. Both teams to score, drawing against West Ham. Both teams to score, losing 3-1 to Tottenham. Tottenham's away form is awful. They've only beaten Man City, Man United and Southampton. And out of kilter, Man United at that. So it's really not good form. But when they do win, boy, do they score goals. But they're missing Solanke. They're missing Maddison. Are they gettable? With the team news like that, you would think they are, wouldn't you? 41 dangerous stacks to 14. This might be one for the second half. Do you trust them? That's the question. So we'll keep an eye on 20. We want to make sure that 20 is starting to add second half shots. I was taken in by the first half, thinking they'd continued, but they haven't had anything in the second half yet. So I might bail at some point. Gostepe. Well, 6 shots on, 9 off, 6 corners, 1.5 pre-match favourite. Already had a goal disallowed. Can we find any value in this one? I don't think we can. So let's have a look at Göztepe. I do like it when a side has had a goal disallowed. That's always a good sign. Over 1.5 goals, it's a bit like Real Madrid yesterday, but look at it, it's totally illiquid. Well, not illiquid, it's 49k matched, but the gap between back and lay is awful. So if you did lay over 1.5 goals, for example, it's going to cost you a pretty penny. Sorry, that's wrong. It will cost you 34, but then the profit will compensate for that. Well, the market's not alive. So when you get in a liquid market like this, Göztepe +1 is the same as laying Alanya-Spor. So that would be, well, you can't, can you? It's all Alanya-Spor 1.54. So that would be your profit there, 72 quid. And your potential loss of 40 pounds, of course. Sorry, let me get that right. Potential loss of 43 pounds. So you still make that 30 quid. That's what I did with Real Madrid. But Göztepe are not Real Madrid, are they? But I like that. 6 shots on target, 9 shots off target, 7 corners. Carrarese and Brescia don't have a strong opinion with that one. So this is tempting, specifically because of that goal being disallowed. 3-2 against Fenerbahce. That's a special one's Fenerbahce as well. 5-4 Alanya-Spor against Istanbulspor, but conceding notably 7 goals in the last 2 matches. Beaten by the Turkish Yorkshireman as well, Ayopspor, and beaten by Trabzonspor as well. Away form recently for Alanya-Spor, conceding 3 goals. Now, call me a fool, and I will beat myself up, but I might personally have a bit of a punt. But I have to get this one right. Laying over 1.5 goals. I did this with Real Madrid yesterday and it broke even. As long as Alanya-Spor don't score the next goal, I will be safe. So I've laid over 1.5 goals. It's cost a lot of money. Göztepe +1 is at 3s now. So it's a bit more liquid. So the difference between that at £76 and £49. So it's 50, 60, 76, £26 profit. As long as Alanya-Spor don't score the next goal. Now I'm banking on Göztepe doing what they did before, have a goal disallowed, for example. It's a very, very difficult one. They are not Real Madrid, are they? So as you can see, it's yet another I'm not passing on to Telegram. It's 1.5 pre-match at home. That's tempting as well. The disallowed goal is tempting, but it's carries a high risk with it. The 0-1 is covered, 7 minutes to go. Alanya-Spor could get a penalty. You never know. You know, could get an own goal, and it could all blow up in your face. The only other way to play this would be to delay or play in the match odds market. Goal disallowed for a foul, Heliton, 66th minute. So that is, or has some potential to it, doesn't it? Expected goals, 2.45 for Göztepe. Now, I don't know how to use the expected goals ratio. It's I've never used it prior to its turning up, of course. It's not had any use for me. Goal attempts, 18-7. Second half, 9-3. Only 2 shots on target. Shots inside the box, 8-1. That's pretty good. I like that. Hit the woodwork once. Ouch. Big chances, 3-0. Don't forget, this is all second half stats. The red is all in our favour. but you are at the behest of Alanya not cocking it up. Castillon, 12 shots off target, 80 dangerous attacks, could do with a point or three. But had we done insurance on this one, we'd be sitting fine, wouldn't we, at the 0-1, and just sitting and waiting and hoping that Castillon get that equaliser. They did score in their last home match, but that was a 1-2 defeat. Huesca, well, those 3 consecutive clean sheets as well does not augur well for Castillon. But why on earth Castillon favourite, I don't know. It's because that Huesca's form, isn't it, away from home against those lower half sides. So let's hope that 2.45 expected goals ratio brings us an equaliser, because I will make something like 25 to 30 quid there. That would be rather nice. But I'm due to lose a lot more, of course, if they don't oblige. The only other way to do this, of course, the better value way in hindsight would be to lay Alanya small back of Gostepe at 26s. That way, you're not exposing yourself to these massive losses like that. So really, in hindsight, I should have done it that route. Limit your liability should be the watchword, shouldn't it? Twente, well, I have pulled the trigger, but they've not shown up second half yet. They've had 1 shot off target and 1 corner. So again, like Aston Villa yesterday, when you've done a +1, you can get out of the over 0.5 goal, the 0.5 or 1.5 goal market, and you can get out of the +1 market for an effective break even. Brentford and Tottenham coming to half time. Do you trust Brentford? It is a London derby. Tottenham are missing Dominic Solanke and James Maddison up top. Brentford only losing against the top 3 at home, scoring 2+ goals in all bar 1 matches against 4th and lower. On paper, both teams to score pattern as well. They look a really good candidate, don't they, for that equaliser. Second half, well, it's much of a muchness, but they do start very quickly second half, scoring 5 goals, but they are very vulnerable in the first 15 and the last 15 of home matches. But they score 13 goals second half. Tottenham's away form, they've only conceded 5 away goals in the second half. So if they can weather the first half, as you can see there, which they've done, there might be some hope for the second half. Well, my heart is saying a Brentford equaliser, isn't it? Stephen has told us that goal was an own goal. We've checked the team news. Maddison's out, Solanke's out, Richarlison's up front. He's a class act, but you won't be getting the service if Maddison's not there, are you? And this Moore is a youngster. He's just getting a first team play because of all of the injuries. So it's all looking good for a Brentford goal. As I said, neutral might have been the best avenue. If we expect a second half goal, it covers both teams, doesn't it? So if you've had 1 goal scored, well, over 2.5 goals. They're expecting goals in this one, aren't they? No doubt about it. That's what I'd normally be backing over 2.5 goals at in the second half with a goal scored. So the market's expecting goals. Can we get the right team to score the next goal? If you wanted to play, there's that lay of over 1.5 goals, which is pretty decent. Looking at Brentford +1, what are we going to get here? Probably, I would say 1.8, 1.9. Well, just over that, 2.08. So again, if it breaches 1.8, the market's not hugely confident. Don't forget this. +1 is exactly the same as laying Tottenham. So Tottenham are evens, or just below evens, but they were 3.25 pre-match. Don't forget that's an own goal. It's a tricky one, isn't it? It's a London derby. That's what blunts the confidence, but we are expecting plenty of goals. The only value there is the over 3.5 goal. Then we're asking for an early goal to be scored to get that one moving. You can't be backing over 2.5. It's only 1.48. So goals are expected second half. Bear that in mind. But who's going to score them? That is the question. 49 dangerous attacks to 17 for Brentford. Göztepe coming to the end of the match. 7 shots on 10 off 7 corners. Now, I'll be quite happy for this to end 0-1. Get all my money back. Castillon. Well, there's a reason why Castillon are 17th in the league, you'd suggest. But this would have been a good insurance play, wouldn't it, with Huesca's failure to score that second goal? Because you're still involved late on, but you might want to consider cashing out if you did get involved, like Wolves and Aston Villa yesterday. Unison Gilwa were involved in the Champions League. So bear that in mind, okay? Very strong favourite involved in the Champions League. Jablonek and Bohemians, Bristol Rovers and Peterborough. Again, it's a very tough match, that one. Tough afternoon. Frankfurt, again, involved in Europe, and it looks like the Wolf are doing a good job. Karabag, going to be too illiquid. Ollie, involved in Europe, I think. No, it's not showing up. Okay. Athens Kalathea, this is a new side in the Greek Super League. I'd love to go back to Greece. I love Athens. Wonderful city. Let's get rid of a few of these. That's Carrarese and Brescia, 0-2. You can check who the favourite was in that one. Just get rid of the Campeonato Nacional while it's a little quiet. Put the Chavs odds on pre-match. You want to check that if you want at soccerstats.com to see whether they have a second half goal-itis. And we've got the SPL matches beginning Celtic and at Rangers as ever. Very, very strong favourites. I'll get rid of this Jablonek and put up a match we know. Carrarese and Brescia. Pre-match odds. And there's a 20 equaliser. Oh, delighted. Delighted. Because it was a risk. It was a risk, wasn't it? But when you take a risk, you get the reward. So we're going to lose £8. So you can hoover that up now, but wait for it to tidy it up. Okay, so it was a risk. And I better just remind Telegrammers that I am still here, but it's a tough afternoon. Good afternoon. I am still here. If you're wondering why you're not getting any messages, as I said this morning, it's a tough coupon. If you wanted speculative plays, you could look at Brentford equaliser. Tottenham are without Maddison. They're without Dominic Solanke. Maddison is the one who provides the ammo. Solanke is the one who normally scores. And the Tottenham goal was an own goal. So if you wanted an equaliser there, that's a potential play as well. If you're at the live stream, well, if you're not there, come along. I've just picked out the 21. Not confident enough to pass it to you on Telegram, but they have just equalised. So we're going to clean up that one. So you do get some additional plays at the live stream, which I'm not confident enough to pass them on to Telegrammers. So just wanted to let you know that I'm still here. And it's just a tough coupon, as I mentioned in the review preview this morning. Oh, that's nice. While I was chatting. You've got to cash out now. You've got to cash out now. Take the gift. Run to the hills. £42. Lovely jubbly. So aren't you glad you turned up to the Sunday live stream? That'll buy you a couple of Yorkshire puds. So nice work. And that will give me insurance if Göztepe concede a second consecutive goal. But as you can see, 8 shots on, 11 off, 7 corners. But the problem with this is they could get done by a goal on the break. Remember Walsall yesterday, 1-0 lead, absolutely bossing. That turned into 0-2 before it turned into 1-2, and then it turned into 2-2. So I'm with the right side here. This is exactly how it looked for Real Madrid yesterday, but they just ran out of time. Well, that's a derby-style match, Ajax and Feyenoord. I just don't have any confidence in playing it, apart from, I suppose, being a neutral player, which will be goals only. Get out of your 20 play if you were foolish enough to follow me in. Lock it in. That's part of my, I want to boil a hacker in a vat of acid benevolent fund. So it's a very welcome bit of cash, that one. Just hope this lot don't get caught out by a late goal. If they don't, and if they equalise late on, then we're going to make, well, I'm going to make 25, 30 quid. But now, if you didn't play that route with Göztepe, you can always use this route, can't you? 109, 106. Instead of risking all this ridiculous amount of money, that 22 equals that 22 there. That's why I love doing the +1. If you wanted to bail out, bang, bang, and you'd break even. If you wanted to get involved in laying Alani Aspor, now is the time to do so because your liability will be ultra small. Look at the Barcelona win, 1.17, 1-0 only. Typical post-Champions League hangover. Can they pull it off, Göztepe? Can they make sure that they don't concede the next goal? It's a big risk, but because I'm out of hope if Alani Aspor score a late second. Well done to Twente. 2.45 the favourite means you really have to first do your research, second rely on the in-play stats. Thankfully, the in-play stats turned up for us. Brentford and Tottenham, have you decided yet whether you're taking on the Spuds or not? It does make a compelling argument, doesn't it, to take on Tottenham today. We've got Maddison absent, Solanke absent, an own goal as your opening goal. We've got a Brentford side who tend, rather without exception, both teams to score in London derbies. It's all looking good, isn't it? Don't forget their solid result against Palace, scoring 2 second-half goals, I believe. Toulouse and Nice, 2.4 the favourite again. The market's telling you we can't pick a winner, so you're going to have to rely on the in-play stats if you've got any confidence. And that 3 shots on, 7 off 4 corners for Toulouse looks okay, doesn't it? We can research it, but highly unlikely you're going to find an angle. The market's already warned you. 2.4 the favourite. Sorry, mate. Even the professionals can't even pick a winner out of this one. So you've got to be ever so cautious. 2.4 normally suggests that both sides' form is pretty similar. But for me, only 4 defeats all season for Nice makes them a tricky side to bet against, doesn't it? Particularly, they've scored 2 goals in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 recent matches. Toulouse have conceded 2 goals in the last 2 home matches against Montpellier, bottom of the league. Don't forget that win. That could get Montpellier out of trouble. And Strasbourg, the second goal, an own goal, alas. No, the goal for Toulouse was an own goal. So it's not the best form in the world. I don't know why this is 2.45 the favourite. I really don't. You're looking on paper at Nice with only 4 defeats all season. Albeit all away, that might be the reason. As you can see there, that might be the reason why Toulouse are given a chance today. Failed to score that second goal in all matches against the top 11. But then Toulouse, only 1 win. against the top 9. So both sides are as poor as each other. And Stephen tells us that the Nice goal was a pen. So thank you very much, Stephen. Yet another important bit of information from Stephen. Just adds a little bit of confidence, doesn't it, if you're going to take Nice on. But you've just seen both sides are equally as bad as each other against the top 9. That's likely the Göztepe match ending 0-1, I hope. I'm waiting for a full time. Yes, it's ended 0-1. So that means I make £39.20 here. I lose £39.20 here, but I could have made that with a win. Really, in hindsight, 106, 109 keeps your liability to £4, doesn't it? And you're still going to make 50 if they get the late equaliser. So I played that one well, but the risk far too high. Celtic have already scored, as you'd expect. Fancy that, eh? Celtic winning a match in Scotland. Whatever next. Rangers is still a little quiet, so let's just get rid of a few of these matches. Ajax Feyenoord, derby style match, not interested. Brentford, I'm really tempted to get involved here. We're expecting second half goals. You can see that in the market. Really tempted to get Tottenham. And I might have a punt at this one. Again, be prepared to lose because it's a London derby, okay? But without Maddison, without Solanke, I think they're a little lightweight. So neutral is probably the best route today for that. Laying over 1.5 goals. And then you head off probably Brentford +1. Again, which was over evens, which is dangerous in itself, isn't it? But you've seen the reward with Twente. It's a 40+ quid profit. So that will cover the loss on this one if it is a loss. So we're getting evens if we can get that equalised. But please remember, it's a London derby. But we're just building up a case that Tottenham's forward line isn't all that, are they? So just get rid of that highlight there if I can. There it is. Okay. Toulouse and Nice. Well, thank you very much, Stephen, for telling us that the Nice goal was a penalty. Does that increase your confidence in taking Nice on? You've already seen these two are awful against fellow top 7s. Well, certainly away. Against the top 11 away, not scored that second goal. Nice against the top 9 home and away, awful. So that's why it's 2.45 the favourite, okay? Both sides equally as bad form. Man United and Crystal Palace. Probably I've missed the boat here. This could have been one to take on the draw second half. I'll do it, put it back to 20 and then just sit on it. But trusting Man United, it's very, very difficult indeed. We can look at soccer. Well, that's the odds-on favourites, so we'll just bring them up here. So hopefully I'll be alerted to them. We can look at where we'll be going. Man United and Palace, you can see it's just very hard to read Man United at the moment. So it could end a 0-0. They could do another 0-1 like they did against Fulham. Palace, coming off the back of that Brentford defeat in the London derby. Both teams have new managers as well. It's post-Europe for Man United, or is it? Yes, it is. Yes, Steaua Bucharest they played. Beating Southampton, well, so what? You know, beating Man City, guess what? It's a London derby. It's a it's a derby, it's a geographical derby. Crystal Palace coming off the back of beating West Ham. Not the best team in the world at the moment. Leicester City. Well, my mum and her friends at Bridge could beat Leicester City. So it's a difficult. Man United's form is not compelling at all, is it? Since the 4th of December, beating in a Manchester derby, beating Southampton, and then a single goal against Fulham. But if you wanted a bit of value, Martinez to score perhaps. Conceded in the last 5 at home, Man United. And no defeat in 7 away for Palace is very eye-catching indeed, isn't it? That I didn't expect. It's 13th against 12th. Man United doing pretty much all of their good work against 9th and lower. Against 11th and lower, Palace had better watch out because they have scored 2, 4, 0, 3, 3 goals against 11th and lower. Palace themselves are in good winning form against 10th and lower, beating Brighton, West Ham, Leicester and Ipswich, and that draw with Wolves. So scoring 2+ goals themselves. Do these sides have good second half records? Let's have a look. Well, this probably down to substitutions, perhaps. And the Chavs have scored first. Did you check out the Chavs match, as I suggested, when you've got an odds-on favourite at home at 0-0 at half-time? Did you check them out at soccerstats.com to see whether both of these sides had a good second half scoring record? 10 out of 15 Palace goals away have been scored second half. 73% of those conceded come second half. So there is a possibility of a goal coming in second half. Man United, 65% of the goals this season have come second half at home. So possibilities. Only 2 0-0s at half-time at home, none at full-time. 6 0-0s at half-time away, only 1 at full-time. Very, very good conversion rate. So I'm hoping that we're going to get a concerted period of 0-0 where the draw odds can get even lower and I can come out with a profit. But as you can see, it's all about timing, isn't it? Can I time it correctly? Well, I missed that one, didn't I? DZ, Dinamo Zagreb. Odds on favourites. So 54 dangerous attacks for Brentford as the second half begins. Are they going to be caught out on the break? Are you going to take Stevens' notification that Nice goal was a penalty to suggest that Toulouse could get an equaliser here today? Both teams have scored in Toulouse matches against the top side, but they've lost in every single one of them. So interesting. In a match like this, as you've just seen with Twente, you've got to rely on the in-play stats. Solidly in Toulouse's favour. Up to you. I'm going to be sitting on my hands here and hopefully we get low odds for the draw. But this could be another late goal match, this one. 4 wins in 5 for Man United. Steaua Bucharest, Fulham, Rangers. No, that's a test fixture, meaning that the software is just testing it. So 3 consecutive wins, but not against the strongest sides in the world. You should be beating an SPL side. That's a given. Should be beating Steaua Bucharest as well. But all 3 matches were 0-0 at half-time, and all of them ended with at least a goal. Dinamo Zagreb goal has been disallowed, which could be a foot in the door for us. Don't forget they are pre or post-Europe. So let's just break and have a look at that one. All the while, I'll be waiting for the Man U draw odds to get lower and lower. Dinamo Zagreb. So laying over 1.5 goals. I'm going to have a go at this, even though it's post-Europe. They've just had a goal disallowed. So that's always a good sign. Laying over 1.5 goals. And hopefully +1 will be a reasonable price. I'm relatively happy to take that. But you could always go match odds and look for that 4.4. But that looks quite tempting, 1.83. So that's Got a degree of confidence to it. Why? Just because 1.7 pre-match, 8 shots on, 3 off, 6 corners, 73 dangerous attacks, concerted pressure. So that'd be my first. We've got a suspended market. Let's just see. I'm not going to pass it on if they've scored. Offside, Dinamo Zagreb. Right, I'm not sure what that suspended market is for. So I'll wait on that. Suspended market. Oh, there we go, 2-0. So thankfully I didn't pass that one on. That's what I'm warning you about, the trouble post-European club competition. But if you didn't play, this is a good entry point. Hopefully this is just a big chance and not a goal. I'll have to wait and see. Hopefully it's just a big chance, but it's probably going to be 2-0. And I'm going to be paying the price for getting involved in another post-European side. So just got to wait on that one. It's not come up yet. Brentford looking okay, starting to light up the attacking pressure index. I think I pressed the button on that one, didn't I? So hopefully we get Brentford to score next. Man United starting to wake up second half, 2 shots on, 11 off, 7 corners to 0. We still haven't got that goal. Yes, we have now. So could be an opportunity to top up, or if you didn't play, play now. This is the problem, you see. This is the problem I have with these Champions League or European sides. They look great, and I did my checks, in-play stats, had a goal disallowed, 8 shots on, 3 off, 6 corners, 75 dangerous attacks. I wonder if that was from open play or a penalty. That's the problem we have in these kind of matches. It's just a post-European hangover. Champions League against AC Milan. So I should have really noted the pattern this season. Got a suspended market. And guys telling me Dinamo Zagreb had a big 2-1 win against AC Milan. Indeed, I've just noted that, guy. Yeah. And we're paying the price for getting involved with a Champions League side. Paying the price. But it's 57 minutes. Oh. Right, I don't know what this is. It's at 1-2. I hope so. Just going to wait. Yes, we got a goal back, but I wanted to get involved at 2-0. I wanted to back DZ for £5 at 8.4 and lay Aussie Jack again. So I wasn't panicking. So now I'm involved here without insurance, and that's wrong, by the way. Oh, it's 1-1. We're okay, guy. We're okay. Aussie Jet goal disallowed. You're quite right to point out the Champions League, guy. It's 1-1 DZ. Thank goodness for that. Now that's a shot across the bow for us. £10 loss there. And we'll make a £10 gain. Or it's up to you if you want to get out because of the Champions League collywobbles. But it did look like it was a bit of a shock, didn't it? Really, against the run of play. This is what I quite like, 77 dangerous attacks. It does suggest where the huge momentum is going, doesn't it? Forward line attack, 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 attack. And talking of that, all the while, Man United odds are getting shorter. So I'll give this some breathing space. I quite like the Dinamo Zagreb stats. Bristol Rovers scored first against Peterborough. I don't have a strong opinion there. Can I get involved with the draw yet in the Man United match? We're waiting. £2.36 profit. Don't spend it at once. Okay. All the while, this is at £20 now. So that will be liability. So that's 13 quid profit minus 2 quid. So that's not too bad. It's 11 quid for a risk-free play, but as long as it doesn't end in a score draw, that's the only thing we've got to worry about. But the only liability here is 5 quid. So if you're willing to knock that one, write it off and delay, get that draw at shorter odds. The only loss we'll make would be if it ends in a score draw. But Man United look like they're dominating Crystal Palace today, don't they? But they only got that single goal against Fulham recently. Don't take that to heart. 4 wins in 5. We've already seen the form lines when you look at them. Not the best on the planet, are they? Dinamo Zagreb looking excellent for that second goal. 9 shots on, 3 off 6 corners. Looked like they were caught on the break, weren't they, with that 2-0. We've got a suspended market. Have I missed the Man United goal? Has Dinamo Zagreb made it 1-2? Have I rude not cashing out? Has Osijek made it 2-1? I'm waiting for the sign of a goal. Don't forget, Rangers Ross County is 0-0. 1.17 pre-match fav. So let's check the stats there as well. We'll get rid of all of this. Jablanek and Bose, 2.5 the favourite. I think we can choose our battles today. We can get the Young Apostles in Ghana if you fancy them. And Dreams are playing today as well. The Theatre of Dreams. And we get rid of Campeonato Nacional. Just trying to find the Rangers match. Oh, Osijek have made it 2-1. And this is the problem you have. I was just going to get to the Rangers match and they go and score. So that's the problem I have, not cashing out in the Osijek match. Should have taken it, really. We had the warning sign of that VAR goal. So really should have cashed out, shouldn't I? It's still early enough in the match that we might get another chance at a Dinamo Zagreb. So let's just go back to DZ. Should have cashed out, shouldn't I? We're flirting with disaster with these post-European club competition, particularly Champions League sides. Now, this is what I wanted to do earlier. You can either add to this, but that's not too bad, is it? If you want to get out, that's not bad at all. It's also a very good sign that Dinamo Zagreb have the potential to get back in this, but don't want to keep compounding losses. Did you cash out of your Twente? Go ahead, because it's a late 2-2. A late 2-2 for Go Ahead Eagles. So that is why we cash out. Now you could get involved again, laying over 3.5 goals and backing Dinamo Zagreb +1. You could do that again, but you could get out of that initial play because we were foolish enough not to have cashed out. So I might get involved again. It looks like over 3.5 goals, it is very strong odds on. So I'm paying the price now. That should be looking at 15, shouldn't it? Rather than a £5 loss. Do I get involved? Am I going to pay the price for trusting a Champions League side? This is where they're going to have their collywobbles, isn't it? You've seen it all weekend. Even though they're absolutely bossing this match from start to finish, they have now nearly conceded 3 goals against Osijek, were it not for the VAR. So Oh, I didn't lay the draw. What are we going to do here now? It was all Man United. This is the tricky coupon we have today, isn't it? I couldn't trust Man U with stolen money. Looks like Nice are getting back into it as well. You can see the start of that brown line moving upwards, the momentum line there. Brentford, well, it's a London derby. This is what I'm talking about. A very tricky day today. But 2 shots on, 10 off, 6 corners again, 69 dangerous attacks. Look at Dinamo Zagreb as well. On paper, you're all over them. 9 shots on target, 3 off, 6 corners, 81 dangerous attacks. But they're getting done 2-1. Could get involved again. Try to win that back by laying over 3.5 goals. But am I going to be paying the price for getting involved in a Champions League side? Because you've just seen Real Madrid. You see Barcelona at 1.17. Struggle, struggle, struggle. So laying over 3.5 goals and then backing Dinamo Zagreb +1. If, don't forget, Osijek did have a goal disallowed as well. Am I going to be in big trouble doing that? So let's try again. So we've got this option as well. That's very tempting, isn't it? But it's a Champions League side, and if ever they're going to cock it up, it's going to be this week, isn't it? How early are we in the match? Genoa have a goal back. That should have been layable, shouldn't it, really? Given their recent form has been exceptional. So let's have a look. Wow, beating AC Milan 2-1. They'll be absolutely over the moon with that one, won't they? Osijek, 2 consecutive 2-2s, but one of them in a friendly. And we've got a goal for Motherwell against Celtic after the 23rd minute. And Osijek's win on the 27th of October as well, 2-4 against Dinamo Zagreb. So interesting. But if you're looking purely on the in-play stats, you're purely with Dinamo Zagreb. +1 is probably the safest route for me. But I've got to cash out if we get to the 2-2. You have been warned. It is a Champions League side. That's the reason that we might have some trouble today. But this, well, it's a big insurance, isn't it? 19.29. It's nearly 17 quid if you don't. I've taken 5 quid off the profit, of course, haven't I? Because I cashed out for a loss earlier on. Let's just catch up. Derby style match. No great interest there. London Derby. 70 dangerous attacks to 21. It doesn't mean that Brentford are going to win this or equalise. Just put the old vibration machine on. It doesn't mean anything, does it? Toulouse and Nice. Well, we've already seen both sides are appalling against fellow top 7 sides. Man United, again, if I'd laid the draw there, I'd still be in trouble because it's flatlined. I can't trust Man United at all, I'm afraid. And so Tyrrell, very good performance against against Sassuolo last weekend. So I'm not too interested in that one. 12 shots off target, 7 corners for Cremonese. 2.35 away favourites, 67th minute. But they are suffering from a lack of shots on target. Am I going to rue getting involved again here with DZ? 89 dangerous attacks to 29, but they've conceded nearly 3 goals. This lot are on a run of 2 consecutive 2-2s, but it is post-Champions League for DZ, which could spell danger for us. Should have laid Fiorentina really 2-0 up, just for the sake of it, 1.04, because Genoa have been in okay form of late, but I missed the boat. there, alas. Cavarese and Brescia, 2.15 favourite, 63 minutes in. I haven't seen a reaction from them, so I'll get rid of that one. The Chavs should have laid that draw second half. I hope you did some research on that one, as I suggested at half time. We've missed the boat there with the Chavs. Olympiacos, half time at 0-0. Were they involved in Europe? They were in the Europa League against Karabag, 3-0 win. So again, they could underperform. 2 consecutive defeats for Livadiakos against Asteras Tripolis and PAOK Thessaloniki. You would really be favouring Oli today. This could be one of those, again, where you wait for that 0-0. Particularly as it's Greece. We could get a concerted period of 0-0. But that's relatively high, isn't it? And this should be relatively low, at 3.1. You can do a bit of research, but it is post-European club competition for Olympiacos again. So we can check that one out. When you get the members only, go to the matches on the left here. Scroll down and check them out. So looking in solid form recently, don't seem to be affected post-Europa League, as you can quite clearly see. Otherwise, they'd be picking up some losses around here. 0-0s at half-time, 64th minute goal. 69th and 90th minute goals, 60th minute. So we've got 3 consecutive 60th plus minute goals with the last 3 0-0s at half-time. 0-0 at half-time, 81st minute goal. Watch out, recent 0-0. 83rd minute goal, 56th minute penalty and 90th minute goal. So some late goals in Livadiakos matches in stark contrast. But still, the conversion rate looks okay, doesn't it? The only problem we have is whether Olympiacos are a bit troubled post-Europe. Failure to score for Olympiacos. Livadiakos failed to score against the top 4 at home. Failed to score that second goal against the top 8, so liable if leading, if that pattern continues. Looking at the goal times, well, you can see that already. 76th minute to 90th minute. Wow. Conceding 11, 79% of their goals at home second half, conceding 7 of those in the last 15 minutes of matches. Olympiacos could be down to substitutions here, 60th minute onwards. 8 of their 10 goals scored from the hour mark onwards. So this could be one for one of these, couldn't it? Laying over 0.5 goals and then sit on this for at least 15 minutes and hope we get a 0-0 until the 60th minute mark. Seems to make sense. It is Greece, not renowned for being a goal fest league. So we remain hopeful. And look at Genoa making a bit of a fist of this one, aren't they? Against Fiorentina. The value really was in Lane Viola at 2-1. Union St-Gilloise looking good, but again, post-European club competition. They did lose midweek against Rangers, 2-1 loss. 7 shots off 3 corners. Possibilities. Well, that's obvious for Celtic, but you can't really play any value unless Motherwell score first, can you? These old firm matches. Waiting 15 minutes as well, or 20 minutes normally for me, for the first goal to be scored, but didn't come across in either of these. So there's very little wiggle room when the old firm are on form, which is a pity. We'll get rid of some of these. So Tyrol having a good afternoon. Trying to wriggle their way out of relegation. Ajax Feyenoord, good result for them. The Chavs, well, are they going to be vulnerable? But we've missed the boat. That was a lay the draw second half, wasn't it? Valencia, you're likely to see them pack the defence after conceding 7 goals against Barcelona last week. You normally see that reaction from these teams. Suddenly, they become super defensive. Make sure you don't get embarrassed in your next match. See it time and time again after a spanking. You suddenly tighten that ship and you don't concede, or you make it very hard to get another spanking in your very next match. But why don't they enter every match with that mentality? Then their defence would be very sound indeed, wouldn't it? The strange mind of the football manager. Spanish Secunda, we'll keep an eye on that one. So we'll get rid of a few of these. Lots of Spanish football again. Where's the siesta? It's 3 o'clock. You should be having a snooze after drinking wine with your lunch. So we're just tightening this up a little bit. Topos and Helmond, that'll be it for the time being. So let's have a look at our matches of interest. Are we going to Rue getting involved with DZ again? Are we going to get Rue getting involved in this London derby? Tottenham are doing a good job defensively. They are lacking up front. 80 dangerous attacks for Brentford. Can they score, as they usually do in London derbies? This is a good advert to you as to why I tend to leave these derbies alone. Anything can happen. It's as simple as that. The home side are dominating the second half momentum-wise, as you can see from the graph. They are above the brown line, but only 2 shots on target is the concern. Toulouse, well, it's not a match you want to get involved in. It's a Sunday match again, isn't it? Both sides are awful against the top 7. Man United, well, good secondary stats, 12 shots off and 8 corners to 0. That's something to think about, but only 2 shots on target. If you're getting Lisandro Martinez to get you out of jail, then you're in a spot of bother, aren't you? They may well equalise Man United, but it's not a match I want to play at all. Salernitana got the opening goal, 74th minute, 2.35 Cremonese. I think we played them last week in that draw, didn't we, Cremonese, if I recall. 12 shots off target. So I haven't had a shot off target for 12 minutes now, and 7 corners, but again, it's not a compelling match. Dinamo Zagreb, are we going to rue this one? It looks another huff and puff performance from another Champions League side, doesn't it? 97 dangerous attacks to 34, yet they've still nearly conceded 3 goals. So I'm living on the edge with this one. We could get caught out again, couldn't we? Should have got out at the equaliser because it was a Champions League side. In fact, shouldn't have really got involved because it's a Champions League side. Eintracht Frankfurt against the Wolf, 46th minute. Again, this could be one for the draw. So hopefully this will be tight because it's another European side. Get the draw at odds on. We have a good chance of a reasonable return. The draw is already 2.78. We can have a look at the research for Frankfurt and the Wolf, but don't forget the European element involved in this as well. So Frankfurt and Wolfsburg. So there we are. Really good form after the winter break for Frankfurt. Really have had goals before half time, so that's a slight concern at the moment. But a total of 9 goals in Wolfsburg's last 2 matches. Make that 15 goals in the last 3, an average of 5 goals a match in the last 3 matches. It's normally an absolute goal fest in Wolfsburg matches from the 30th of November. So we might be living on the edge or beyond hope, expecting that 0-0 to continue for very much longer. Very solid form for Frankfurt against 7th and lower at home. Unbeaten against 11th and lower. 1-2 win last head-to-head. Wolfsburg, goal fests against top sides. Scoring and conceding without winning. against the top three this season. Are we going to see an over 2.5 goal second half? 4.1. It's relatively low, isn't it? Because we're having to cram in overs into the second half. You move up one, you're getting a bit more value, aren't you? And if you bear in mind 5, 5, 7, 5, 5, 7, 3, 6. Wow. Look at this lot. 9, 4, 4, 2, 5 against ninth and lower at home. So that is going to be low risk, isn't it? So you might as well just have a little tickle there. So if I miss the draw because a goal scored early, I'll still get this one ignited. 3.5 goals. Real possibilities if that Wolfsburg pattern against the top three continues today. Low risk as ever. Coming to the last 12 minutes, Tottenham have survived. 3 shots on, 13 off, 10 corners. And Dinamo Zagreb are running out of time. Again, running out of puff. It's another Champions League side underperforming. Just see if there's been any team changes for Tottenham and for Brentford. So just wait for this one to come up. Ah, there we go. 0-1, and there we go. That started the ball rolling here because Wolfsburg have scored first. So I've lost this, but this has started to roll, and it's all relative to the amount risked as well, isn't it? So it's good risk reward. It's a very early goal, and it's a goal to the away side. So that augurs well for a response of sorts. Coming on second half, Jensen and Coyote and Scarlett coming on for Richarlison. He's a forward, Dane Scarlett. Another new name because of all the injuries, which augurs well for Brentford. He might be a little bit out of his depth, but you never know. And PM Sarr. Pepe Mata Sarr, another very, very famous footballer. Hasn't had many matches, has he? He's come on as a substitute on a few occasions. But midfielder. So these are all the peripheral squad players, it looks like. Can Brentford get us an equaliser? I was just looking at the Dinamo Zagreb match. It's gone to the top there. 3 shots on, 14 off, 10 corners, 91 dangerous attacks, 102 dangerous attacks there. Wow. Man United, I wouldn't be trusting. Second half beginning, Lavadiakos and Ollie. 60th minute, I said. I'm going to wait till. Because that's when he starts seeing the goals coming. And hopefully I'll have a nice lay the draw and a free bet at this. Well, we got an evens favourite, Eintracht Frankfurt, but it is a post-European favourite as well. And you've just seen with Dinamo Zagreb the potential worries we have there. Away at Roma midweek. Nice trip to Italy for the Germans. Neutral play could be where it's at, but on seasonal form, Wolfsburg likely to score, but without winning. So let's hope that we can get more goals in this second half. That would be excellent. Union Saint-Gilloise, another post-European side struggling, yet to have a shot on target at very strong odds on. Valencia keeping it tight, as you'd expect, after a 7-goal mauling from Barcelona. Let's get rid of a few of these. Erste Divisie, expecting goals. Eredivisie, expecting goals. The Chavs, well, watch out for Maritimo coming back to bite them. Suspended market. Let's have a look. Suspenders. Yes, we've got a 2-2 for DZ. Thankfully, if that turns into a 2, we're up and running. Phew. Now, in a market like this, if you've taken a speculative play at 1.1, you can wait for that to hit 0.00 and then get out for a break even if you want. Buy yourself enough time for there to be another goal scored. That's an option. You can just keep your losses to a bare minimum. So now I've learnt my lesson. Hopefully that's a lot better than a £5 loss, isn't it? So £20 out of that one. Oh, it's a bit skinny. That's because we haven't got the... And you also add £5 to that, which was my previous loss. So we'll just wait for this to tidy up a bit, and then I'll look at getting out of dodge there. But it was deserved on the in-play stats, wasn't it? 104 dangerous attacks, 92 for Brentford. Can they do what Dinamo Zagreb have just done? Tottenham, 3 points could shoot them up away from that relegation zone. And that's all care of a goal scored by somebody else. Let's have a look at the live standings. Look at what this has done. They're within 3.3 places and 4 points of Brentford. Take 3 away from that, they're in a bit of relegation trouble. So vital, absolutely vital. Man United are still awful in 13th place. But if they can get out of that, they'll move to 30 with a draw and 32 with a win. They'll be above Brentford and knocking on the top 10 door. We've got an equaliser here. Oh, that's Toulouse equaliser. So there we go. I didn't play it. Did you? The Nice goal was a penalty. Both sides awful against the top 7. Now, if that pattern continues, Nice may lose this match. I didn't want to play it, but if you played it, well done. You can see the momentum just dropping down like flies. Oh, come on. It's not. It's 2-1 now. Been disallowed. Oh, that's a pity. Could have done with that one. But I will break even-ish with a 2-1. I think I'll get rid of that. Toulouse Nice. Man United. Well, no shot on target since the 55th minute. Have they brought Amad Diallo on? Has he got an opening? Has he got a game from the start? Here comes the cavalry. And, oh no, London Derby, I told you. This looks like a Tottenham goal. So I told you it was a tricky Sunday, and we're paying the price for being tempted in. If that's a goal. Sounds like it could be a goal. So, yeah, there we go. Tricky London Derby. Shouldn't have got involved. Shouldn't have got involved. Ericsson on, De Ligt on, Xerxes on, and Hoyland on. Late on, but not for me, I'm afraid. So I keep going on about these London derbies and all the other derbies. And look at that, 0-2 for Palace. Taxi for the manager, Amarin. So I pay, I paid the price for that. getting involved in a London derby. Got to be disciplined, haven't we, eh? We've got to be disciplined and not get tempted in. I won't be playing this one later on. It's a derby style match. I won't be playing the Milanese derby, I think, later on either. Won't be playing this. It's a derby style match as well. So you have been warned. Pay the price for being ill-disciplined and getting involved in these London derbies. Yes, Brentford are probably going to score now, as they tend to do, but in defeat. So I bear the burden of that one. 95 dangerous attacks. Shouldn't have got involved in this. It's a Champions League match. Don't get involved in this. You don't know what Man United will turn up. So told you it was a tricky coupon today. Ideally, we keep our powder dry. Ideally. Another post-European club competition side underperforming. So it's a tricky, tricky day. Premier League didn't look tradable at all, did it? So let's just catch up with a few more. Yverdon and Winterthur, no interest there. Rangers already done and dusted, as usual. Market suspended. I bet you that's a Aussie 3-1 now, just to rub it in. Give me a lesson in remaining disciplined. No news is good news. So that is a pity. It's got them a win and it's a London derby. So very, very careful. Don't play derbies. 89th minute. Break even if we don't get the goal. Genoa do deserve to get a 2-2, but 2-0 was the best option there. 13 shots off target, 7 corners. Olympiacos were coming to the hour mark. Let's have a look at this one. Draw odds. This is probably half time, is it? When you just have a break for 15 minutes. That's probably it there. 3.5. And we're dropping down now. So my lay the draw will make a marginal amount now. But 60 minutes I was waiting for, because that's when we start seeing the goals. But don't forget, this is post Europa League for Ollie. They could labour today, as all of these sides have laboured. Dinamo Zagreb again losing. Leipzig failing to score. Real Madrid losing. Barcelona at 1.17 scoring only 1 goal. Stuttgart losing. It's Eintracht Frankfurt coming off the back of a Europa League match, struggling at the moment. I would normally look to lay Wolfsburg here, particularly it's a top 3 side at home. And they don't seem to be affected. Look at that 2-0 win against Dortmund prior to the Europa League, and then the 2-2 against the Hoff post Europa League. So they don't tend to be affected. It does tempt me in, but it's only an evens home favourite. Union Saint-Gilloise, again, you can just check out, but please remember it's a Champions League. That's why I was saying this Sunday. Just looking at the coupon this morning, very, very tricky. And I've paid the price with that Tottenham match by being tempted into that one. Union Saint-Gilloise, just having a look at second half goals. You can also have a look at how they're affected pre and post Europe if you want. Let's have a look at this one. Union Saint-Gilloise sent Truden. Pretty solid. Few draws. They might be European influenced. St Truden only the 1 win since the 23rd of November. Unbeaten in 11. conceded in the last 11. 4th against 13th. 0-0 last time these two met. But good wins against 10th and lower at home. But trouble scoring that second goal there. But they suddenly come alive against 14th and lower. Are they going to do that against 13th? Just basically losing Sint-Truiden, aren't they? Could be another one. Lay that draw. So it's a tricky one. Tricky day today. Now we know that curse of the Champions League is biting. 1.19. Can we hope that Union St-Gilloise struggle today? Well, Valencia keeping a clean sheet and scoring. Stark contrast to the 7-goal concession last time. So I'm getting involved again. I'm hoping that the draw odds will get nice and low. We might have a chance. No shots on target yet for Union St-Gilloise as the second half will begin. So remain hopeful. Coming to the end of this, if we can get a 2-2, that will ensure a profit. But 2-1 will get me out with about a £5 loss, wasn't it, from earlier on. 60th minute is now the time where we normally start seeing goals in Levadiakos Olympiakos match. Frankfurt and the Wolf. Well, I've got the neutral play in. Looks like Frankfurt starting to warm up nicely. They've got the form to certainly get Wolfsburg today, who are coming off the back of conceding all of those goals. 5 goals in the last 2 matches, Wolfsburg. It is tempting, but I've got the neutral play in as well. Again, it's another post-European side. Can we trust them? That is the problem. But I do like Frankfurt this season. They're top 3 for a reason. They don't tend to underperform. So late 1.5 goals is pretty much, it's quite high at the moment. But you're getting 2.74, which is relatively high as well. So it's like the Twente match. It's risk reward here. Got this one working as well. So if Wolfsburg do score, that will work. It's tempting me in. But again, I'll pay the price of another European side underperforming if they don't deliver. I might personally have a play, but you'll note I'm not passing this on to Telegram. Have a look at the match odds first. Is it, well, that will keep your odds short if you put a few quid on Frankfurt at 10s. The odds will go down if they score next. This will be about a £20 liability. And then +1 is going to pay out very nicely. But it's a tricky match. I'll repeat. It's a tricky coupon today. London derbies. Big derby-style matches, Arsenal, Man City. Sides coming off the back of Europa League and Champions League, not performing. But look at the reward if we can get that equaliser. 18 minus 66. We could do with a 2-2 from Dinamo Zagreb late on, but we'll get our insurance paying out if they at least don't concede a late goal. What you could do if you're looking to double your money, hope for that late equaliser. It's a good example of Paul's is to get out of that at about however late you can, 36, 37, and hope for a late 2-2. And if you get done by a late 3-1, you'll have got this one locked in. So it normally appears just under 1.09 where you start getting this at 35, as you can see there. So that's only taking away £3 with a chance of doubling up if you can make a 2-2, and also the chance of locking it in if Osijek score the next goal. So it's a good risk reward, isn't it? Really, got a suspended market. I wonder who that is. I'll wait and see. So these are risky plays today. Frankfurt, you know, Europe shouldn't have really played Tottenham match because it's a London derby. Keep harping on about London derbies. So we had a suspended market there. I'm not sure what that was for. Probably the end of one of the matches. Oh, have I missed it? Was it the end of the match? Looks like that's the end of the match. I hope at 2-1. Yes, it's finished. So breaking even or just a marginal loss there. But we're very unlucky there with that 2-2, but it's yet another European side losing. Well, Hashtag split involved in Europe midweek. Odds on favourite going down again. We can have a look at the H2H. No, they weren't. But Dinamo Zagreb certainly were, weren't they, with that win against AC Milan. And yet another defeat. Man United, oh dear. Wouldn't be touching them with stolen money at those kind of odds, would you? London derby, we shouldn't have got involved, should we? So I'm waiting on Olympiacos. 66th minute now. Every moment I'm waiting, I'm getting better return if we get a match which does not end in a score draw. So every moment that it's a 0-0, I'm going to potentially make more money laying that draw second half. Done the same with Unity Gilward. The second half is yet to begin. So let's have a look at this one. So Olympiacos 1.94. The draw is at 2.34. This has gone up to £3.49. It's only a 20 quidder. You can always do that at 40 quid if you want, but then you see the liability a lot higher. What we're trying to do is get a risk-free play. So that's up to 14. So the longer I can wait, this is the crucial period now, isn't it? 60th minute onwards is where these two usually start seeing their goals. This is a very risky one on track Frankfurt, isn't it? It's a very, very tight match indeed. 3 shots on, nearly the same off, only beaten with the corners for Frankfurt. Don't forget, it's post-Europa League, so do expect an underperformance. So again, it's not one I'm 100% confident with at all. Unison Gilwar, second half about to begin, I think. So I've done another one of those 0-0 things, and I hope that St Truden or indeed Unison Gilwar underperform, given they were involved in the Europa League. Lost to Rangers midweek. Good result for Rangers at home. Bristol Rovers and Peterborough, don't have an opinion on that. Eibar against Deportivo La Coruña. Well, if you're looking purely at the in-play stats, 1 shot on 6 off and 3 corners. Dangerous attacks are not compelling, are they? But looking good. Not a strongish favourite, Eibar. We can have a quick look at that one in the Secunda League. What have we got coming up? It's not the greatest coupon on the planet today, is it? Bayer Leverkusen coming up, AC Milan, Inter Milan derby, as you know, both sides coming off the back of Champions League football and involved in a derby. That's all you need, isn't it? It's a stay in bed day today, really. Sporting Lisbon a bit later on, Benfica a bit later on, both of them involved in Europe as well. And Marseille and Lyon is a local derby. Roma and Napoli is a derby-style match. Atletico Bilbao were involved in Europe. It's just a very, very tricky day. You're just going to get days like this. You're going to get other days where it just flows and you get lots of really good-looking opportunities. But today, I was tempted in against my better judgment to get involved in a London derby, and I shouldn't have. Eibar and Deportivo, no defeat and 5 at home for Eibar, who are a goal down to Deportivo La Coruña at the moment. No defeat and 4 away for Deportivo as well, but it's all about who they're beating away or who they're not losing to away. 11th against 16th, so relegation 6-pointer-ish for Deportivo La Coruña. Notably for me, against 14th and lower this season, Eibar have not conceded that second goal. Against 10th and lower at home, they've not conceded that second goal. In fact, they haven't conceded a goal against 14th and lower. They did lose 1-2 to Deportivo, which is the current scoreline now. But Deportivo at their best. Look at that. 13th and 14th, playing 11th today. But against the top 12, they've not scored that second goal away from home. Indeed, they've not scored that second goal at all against the top 12, home or away this season. So on paper, it's an insurance job, isn't it? But do you trust these sides? I'll wait for the second half. On paper, got a chance for Eibar to get a result. They're unbeaten against 10th and lower at home. Don't concede that second goal, and a side who don't score that second goal. But the lower down the leagues we go, the more dangerous things become. That is the concern. Well, watch out second half for Eibar, because 70% of Deportivo goals scored away have come second half. 4 goals conceded in the last 15 minutes, but 4 goals scored at the beginning of the second half. That could be down to substitutions maybe. So it's an interesting one. Insurance-wise, you're not expecting a second goal, are you? I'm not sure both teams to score will be worth doing. Every time we wait in, we're getting the draw as favourite now. We're getting more potential profit. And we're getting ahead of the game now. We're £5 ahead on the 0.5 goals market. This is when it works. When it doesn't work, you lose your liability. But when it does work, you've got a risk-free play with the potential of a far greater profit than had you got stuck in at the beginning of the second half. 72nd minute now, but this is the period from 60 minutes onwards where we see goals for these two. But it is, dare I remind you, a post-Europa League Olympiacos. So you're expecting underperformances, aren't you? These two both not involved in Europe. Frankfurt involved in Europe. And guess what? They're losing. Dinamo Zagreb losing. Olympiacos failing to score. Unison Gilwa failing to score. It's a real pattern, isn't it, this weekend? And it just makes trading so much more difficult. Potters Bar Town are playing today. You Potters Bar Town fans. Rennes and Strasbourg. It's a tough coupon in French League 1. No Europe football for Reims and Nantes, but lots of draws. Maybe you want to lay the late draw here. Le Havre look like a relegation, look like a newly promoted side, don't they? Floundering in the better league. So we get rid of a few of these. And all the while it remains 0-0, Olympiacos, it's just a matter of when do I get involved? When do I lay that draw? And as I say, the only way you will actually lose is via a score draw. I suppose with a score draw, you could back both teams to score yes, couldn't you? That would cover every single score draw. Special one beginning. Bari Frosinone, Rennes and Strasbourg. Well, evens favourite. Again, you look at that side earlier on today, you were favourite. L. It's poor stuff. I'll keep going till about 4:30 now, I think. Olympiacos lighting up the attacking pressure index now. Do I pull the trigger? We're getting odds on. So this is just a cat and mouse for me now. Can I wait another few minutes? We're going to get a far better return as long as this does not end a draw. That's the only Achilles heel with this strategy, is if it ends a draw. And we know Greek football is good for this kind of an idea, but they're starting to wake up now, Ollie, against Livadiakos, starting to wake up. Get rid of the Fiorentina match. This looks Aris Athens Calathea, but don't know much about them at all. Eintracht Frankfurt, again, a dangerous game, trusting a Europa League side, but a really good reward if they can pull it off. This is a risky Sunday, isn't it? Very risky Sunday. No shot on target for coming on 13 minutes. 2 shots off target, 76 and 78. Nice bit of pressure. 6 corners to 1, 56 dangerous attacks. But you saw that with Brentford. It didn't really matter, did it? I wonder if that second goal. Oh, it was from open play, wasn't it, for Sarr, the midfielder who came on. But, that will save Postecoglou for another week, you'd argue. So we're just waiting. When do I pull the trigger? Now it's up to £23 potential gains, minus £6.80. You could even just get out of here with a evens return. So it's all about, am I going to miss the boat? I've missed it with St Mirren, didn't I, recently? And I missed it earlier on with the Barcelona match. So I would have nailed a profit with that 1-0, wouldn't I? Because as long as it's not a score draw, you will win. As long as it remains 2 shots on target, none of them second half. But you should see the momentum. 70th minute was the last shot off target. So could get a very late goal for Ollie, hopefully, in this one. Lighting up the attacking pressure index, Eintracht Frankfurt, but this is a very, very risky affair. They're toppling like flies again today, aren't they, these European sides? Union Saint-Gilloise, I've done the same as I've done with Olympiacos. We're getting down to 1.8 now. All the while, the profit increases. How long do I delay? Similar story here. Just starting the ball rolling here. And the draw, still not getting much out of that at the moment. I might try a lay the draw strategy with yes, it was risky. It was risky. It's part of my let's kill a hacker and take his testicles off and stick him in a vat of acid. Benevolent fund. That's more like it, isn't it? Bigger risk, bigger reward. You'll have to take 20 quid off that. But it's still 28 quid profit. Huh. And what has it done to this? Probably not, because the goal hasn't come in a reasonable enough time period. So you could always cash out of this one if you wanted. And Rizaspor scored against Fenerbahce. And guess what? I suspect the special ones, Fenerbahce, were involved in Europe midweek. Let's just check that. I suspect they were involved in Europe midweek. So we've got to get back to the Frankfurt match. That's a nice 20 quid gain there. That will cover half of the loss in that stupid London derby. I should not have played. Very big lack of discipline. Europa League for Fenerbahce. So you're expecting an underperformance for the special one today. They're dropping down like flies, you know that. So we're going to have to see if the special one can get a reaction from Fenerbahce at home. Don't forget, Besiktas are under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now. See if he can get a benefit. Great response from Frankfurt, isn't it? Olympiacos, 79th minute. And we can just get out of this if we wanted to. We gave it a shot. Let's get that £6 back in for my torturer hacker with an electrical current benevolent fund. That's looking a lot nicer. Take £20 away from that. That's a nice £30 gain. I think I'm going to lock it in. So that 30 covers your loss for stupidly getting involved in the London Derby. Risky, wasn't it? It's a risk. But they are third in the league for a reason. Ollie. Can we get anything out of Ollie? Let's have a look at Ollie. Oh, that's looking a lot nicer, isn't it? Let's confirm. £30. Take away 6. That's a £24 gain if we get a goal late on. As long as it's not Levadiakos, because that could open the door up to a score draw, couldn't it? So you've learnt a lot today. Some coupons are just not worth it, are they? They're just too tricky. Second thing you've learnt today, watch out for underperformances after European club competition. Dropping down like flies, aren't they? Third thing you've learnt today, derbies, I avoid them for a reason. They can be unreadable. Look at the London Derby here. Fourth thing, some teams are just not worth trading. Okay, can you imagine if you'd put your money on Man United today? Can't be trusted. It's lovely to see them getting tonked. It is. I do take some delight in it. It's just a ridiculously badly run side, making absolutely stupid signings like Christian Eriksen, who had his day in the sun at Tottenham, and Casemiro. I mean, what on earth are you doing signing this bellend? He played brilliant for Real Madrid, but he's gone. He should have gone straight to the Saudis to top up his retirement fund. It's just such a badly run club. It really is awful. Well done to Frank. I hope you've cashed out. Athens Calathea, I don't know much about them. Aris Thessaloniki, were they involved in Europe midweek? It would be the Conference League, if anything. We're not getting anything from this. Why are they so good today, Athens Calathea? Why are they looking so good? Union St-Gilwa. Well, let's get back to Ollie. And we're down to 1.57 now. The later we can lay this draw, the better chance we've got of getting a late winner and avoiding a score draw. So this is all about how much nerve you have. Do you have the nerve to wait a little bit longer? This is starting to get a bit tempting for me now. Don't forget, we've already looked at the research for these two previously, and late action is where it normally occurs. But guess what? Olympiacos, Europa League, 30th of January. Now you know why they are underperforming. Well done to Frankfurt getting that equaliser. Delighted for them. Phew, that's all I can say to that. That's got the money back from Tottenham. 1.5, I might just pull the trigger soon. I don't want to tempt fate. It's £40, for goodness sake. That's double your money. So I'm in. Hopefully it'll be 0-0 until a very, very late winner for either of these two. The profit I'll make, if we get a goal, will be 40 minus 7. I could also just tonk that one, but what I could do as well is I can wait for this to align with this and then get out for a break even. But I'm already break even now anyway, as long as it does not end in a score draw. Okay, so this is when it works. You've seen 2 or 3 occasions this weekend where I haven't timed it right, but that is when it works, isn't it? Fantastic. So we just need that late goal. we're running out of time, which is good because a late goal. We've got a suspended market. Suspenders. Is that a goal in the Frankfurt match? Is it an Olympiacos goal? Is it a Livadiakos goal? It's an Olympiacos goal. I am Teresa Caputo. Check that out. Wow, man. Now we take £7 away from that. And that's not too shabby, is it? Now, this is all about, it's got nothing to do with me anticipating a goal at all. And it's 0-2 to Rizaspor. As Paul says, is it worth drip laying the ollie draw? Well, you've seen my technique, Paul. We've missed that chance, I'm afraid. So I'm going to get out of this one now. That was such a well played lay the draw, isn't it? It's 0-2 to Rizaspor for the special one. And it is a post European club competition underperformance again. That has put the nail in the coffin of that ridiculous London derby match, which I stupidly got involved in. Unison Gilwell have scored already, so I missed the lay the draw there, which was a real pity. Sparta Rotterdam have scored first against Groningen. I'm absolutely delighted with that one. So I hope you followed it. But this is all down to luck. Let's be perfectly honest. I thought the return was excellent. 2-1 return. Now, if you up that to £40, you can see you'll be sitting on £70 here for a £12 loss or £14 loss there. So it's really good, isn't it? But we missed the Union St-Gilloise goal, so I've lost my liability on that one. But this is when it works. Absolutely superb. And we did our checks, didn't we? Late goals occur in the Livadiakos Olympiacos matches. Come on the Frank. Although we got the equaliser, I'm delighted with that. Very risky play, but only 2 shots on target in the first 30 minutes. 9 shots off. Yes, a nice concerted number of shots off target. Only the 1 corner, but more importantly, 3rd in the league. That's what interested me. We've got Ralph Hasenhüttl. He's he's not ex-Man United, is he? Old Hasenhüttl? Or Hisselhattel-Huttel? Ex-Southampton, isn't he? Old Huttel. He's ex-Southampton, I think. New manager, perhaps. I'll get rid of that one now because I've locked it in. Athens Calathea, I don't know enough about them. I don't know why they're performing well at 3.5 with home advantage. Unison Gilwa missed the opportunity there. The goal came 60th minute. We could have got a very good lay the draw in that one. What am I doing, Anderlecht? Union. Let's just see when the lowest the draw got to. Could have touched 3s there. But we're talking absolute ideals. So it's still not very good value, is it? Half time would have been probably this little sideways movement there. And then I don't think that's half time. Could be. That looks like 15 minutes, doesn't it? Because this is 90 or thereabouts. But if you can lay the draw, you get a nice rise up, particularly if the favourite scores first. The Sparta Rotterdam goal has been disallowed. It might give you an idea. It might give you an idea, Sparta Rotterdam, that could be goals in that match with Groningen. We can check the research on that particular match. I'm just going to plug in my computer there. Just got to make sure. Yeah, there we go. Good. Sparta Rotterdam and Calathea. Not Calathea. Sparta Rotterdam and Groningen. Just had a goal disallowed. So do watch out for that when you see goals disallowed. It's always a good sign, isn't it? We had it with Göztepe earlier on, but that was a break even. So I'm delighted that Frankfurt came in. That's pretty much negated the loss in that London derby. And please, please, please think before you play Arsenal Man City. Think before you play Milan. Please. These are not readable matches. Think before you play any Man United match at all. Think before you play any post-European sides, particularly in a weekend where you know, yeah, we're going to ignore you, Paul. Don't worry about that one. You got involved a little bit late with that Ollie draw. Both teams have scored in 4 of the last 5 for Sparta. Really good result against AZ Alkmaar, but only 3 wins all season. This looks like a relegation charge, doesn't it, for Sparta Rotterdam? Suddenly picking up precious points. Let's have a look at where they are in the league. Probably best to look at where they are in the league via the live standings, of course. So let's do that now. Sparta Rotterdam. We've got a couple of Spartas today. And we've got odds on Jablonek, a goal down. We're not hearing these today, which is a problem. I'm not hearing the odds-ons coming in today, but I know most of the odds-ons anyway, so that's okay. Sparta Rotterdam, looking at the live standings, just give you an idea of motivation. I think they're down the bottom, indeed. So they put together 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, 4, 5, 6 points. Take 12 away, take 6 away from that, and they would be nearly bottom, wouldn't they? So they are charging up the table. 3 points today, 18, 19, 20, 21, depending on how many goals they score, they could get out of the relegation zone. But this is a relegation 6-pointer. So again, it's another one of those niggly matches. Ipswich, Southampton, etc. Groningen need to take points off Sparta Rotterdam to keep that gap. Sparta need to take points off Groningen to close that gap. This is just that part of the season now, February to April. We've got to account for relegation 6-pointers. Certainly lay the late draw. That would be an idea. Get rid of Union St Gilloise, because I was just waiting for that draw to end. Bristol Rovers and Peterborough don't have a strong angle there. 2.15 favourite Peterborough, though, in English League One. Let's have a look while it's a little quieter. Bristol Rovers and Peterborough. Why are Peterborough a favourite today? Can they, or do they have a reputation for scoring 2+ goals? So let's have a look at this particular match. Well, they're coming off the back of a 1-0 win against Wigan, but it's looking pretty Danny Dyer, isn't it? No win in 10 away matches for Peterborough. Conceding in the last 12 will make that 13. Bristol Rovers, it's a relegation 6-pointer, this one, isn't it? Bristol Rovers keeping clean sheets. So don't think they're really gettable. But Peterborough have scored 2 goals here against Burton Albion, 4 goals here and 2 goals here. But it's all dependent on their second half scoring record. Because 2-0, as you know, is a really good entry point if you want to get involved. 60% of goals in Bristol Rovers matches have come second half. Nothing much showing for Peterborough. Not a match. It's like a Man United match. You don't have to get involved. It's just not for me at all. But it's very early in the second half. Up to you if you wanted to have a look. If you could trust that Peterborough 2-goal habit against relegation threatened sides, then you can have a look there. Just want to make sure I've saved the Olympiacos one. Yeah, it's there. So break even there. Glad I didn't get involved in the Man U Palace match. Suspended market. I don't think I'm involved. That's the end of the match. Frankfurt and the Wolf. Great result. We got that +1 in. Tricky match. Olympiacos has ended 1-0. Great result. We got that lay the draw in. 1.1 is not the highest odds, not the shortest odds on the planet, are they, for a 2-0 lead after 66 minutes? So that does betray a lack of market confidence, and you don't have to go crazy to dip your toe in there. And don't forget, if you can get this over to 120, just backing a quid. 12-second gap, by the way. It's a bet to nothing, so give it a go. Let's wait for that to... Angers have been red carded against Le Havre. Now Le Havre desperate need for points. So that's the kind of thing I would do there. I might pass this one on to telegrammers. In a very, very tricky day, we have managed to pull off a few very risky plays in the live stream. Not confident to pass them on to you. Peterborough match though, Bristol Rovers 2-0 up. Peterborough have scored 2+ goals on 3 occasions against 17th and lower. They're playing a side around that today. Well worth laying Bristol Rovers at very, very short odds, 1.08, and a small back of Peterborough at 85. So if they can get a goal back, we might be up and running. It's been a very difficult day because we've had all these sides losing who were playing midweek in Europe. Fenerbahce 0-2 down, for example. Dinamo Zagreb losing earlier on. 1.17 Barcelona only scoring 1 goal. A match you might be interested in, Eibar against Deportivo La Coruña. 1 shot on 10 off and 8 corners. 2.1 home favourite though, not the strongest favourite in the world. But the in-play stats are with Eibar if you fancy that one. But it's just one of those days the coupons just don't interest. Look at the Premier League. Manchester United, would you trust them with stolen money? London derby, Brentford and Tottenham, ruin getting involved in that. Another derby coming up, Arsenal and Man City, derby style match. Another derby later on, AC Milan, Inter Milan. It's just a very, very tough coupon today. We're going to get days like this where we just have to stay disciplined, but we're going to get other days where they just fly out the door. But I'll keep an eye on the market. I'll pass on any possibilities to you. And if you want to see what I'm doing, well, we're probably going to end the live stream soon. So tricky day, isn't it? Very, very tricky day. But those of you who attended and who took risks, you got paid off. And you've also seen my second half draw technique, which worked beautifully for Olympiacos. So Bristol Rovers and Peterborough, well worth laying. It's 20 minutes to go. Peterborough have a record of scoring 2 goals, at least against strugglers. Eibar and Deportivo La Coruña is very, very interesting indeed. It does interest, doesn't it? Did we have that up earlier on? Eibar, Deportivo La Coruña. Eibar and Deportivo La Coruña. Here we go. So what conclusions did we come to? Looking at the league positions again. I think Eibar a good chance. I might take a risk on this one, particularly based on the in-play stats and the fact they're defensively quite sound. Le Havre have been red carded now, so that negates any advantage that they had. So this, again, on a difficult Sunday, is another very risky play because the insurance is costly. This is the way I would do it. Cover that 0-1 for Deportivo La Coruña. They haven't scored that second goal against the top side, but it's a big drop, isn't it? Eibar +1. Again, it's like Eintracht Frankfurt. Far too high. The market doesn't trust it. So another tricky match, but you're going to be rewarded like you were in the Eintracht Frankfurt match. I'm looking at this, not conceding that second goal against 10th and lower at home. I'm looking at this, not scored that second goal ever against any top 12 side. I add those 2 bits of information to this. 1 shot on target, 11 shots off, concerted pressure, 5 of them second half, and 8 corners, 5 of them second half. That is consistent pressure. So that has me interested. I will always bail out, of course, if we're just not getting. We've got a suspended market there. Got a Stade Reims red card. So the French are, well, there's red cards all over the shop in France. Thanks very much, Paul. I'm off to Thailand tomorrow, as long as the fog stays away from Guernsey. It'd be nice to get back. I'm missing the place. It's been lovely in Guernsey, but just a brutal winter. Haven't had any respite. And I don't think I would have been hacked had I been in Thailand either. So that's just a bit of a negative about being on this island. I don't think I'd have been hacked. Ibar, we've got a good opportunity there. I'm going to wrap it up now, so I'll just show you. The only thing not making it more difficult is Porto not playing today. Bosun, Galeno, you stick him in a vat along with a hacker. 2 penalties missed last week by Galeno. That would have cost us, it would have made us a lot of money, that 96-minute conversion. Suspended market, I'll just see what that one is, and then I'll wrap it up and see you on Telegram, because I'm keen to make some money. I made a good profit yesterday. I want to make some more today. So let's just see what that suspension was all about. Haven't got any goals coming up. I'll give you a look at what's upcoming at least. And Arsenal have scored first against Manchester City. It could be one to take on any team that leads 2-0. St. Truden, yet another balls up from a post-European club competition side. So let's just take a walk through what's up and coming. That's probably what this is all about, the 1-1. Looking up and coming, there we go, another European club competition side cocking it up. Moving on down, odds on at home. I like those two. So no, Slavia Prague coming up. Watch out, involved in Europe midweek. Elsewhere, well, Arsenal, Man City, I would probably lay any side leading 2-0 here, like the Man City Paris Saint-Germain match. Riemann Nantes, Rennes Strasbourg. Watch out for a goal before half-time. Try to get 15 or 20 minutes out of this one, if you can. Tricky matches, tricky match, derby style. So it's going to be a quiet evening, I would suggest. AZ Alkmaar look pretty solid. I don't like the look of this coupon, as you've seen, we've struggled today. It's tough later in the evening, 2.4 the favourite, 2.5 the favourite as well. But I'll keep an eye out. I want to make some money. 1.33 involved in Europe, cocking it up. Having a look at the Rizespor goals. So this is what he did at Chelsea, you'll remember. Always struggled at Chelsea, pre and post Champions League, the special one. Soe has got the 2 goals. So a possibility for Fenerbahce getting back into that one. You'll always get value, though, of course, at 0-2, particularly at 0-2 at half-time. So I'm going to say goodnight to you. I'm travelling tomorrow, so you won't be hearing from me. Tuesday, you're probably not going to be hearing from me either. I'll be travelling as well. Looks like Fenerbahce are trying to look for that response. Sparta Rotterdam, desperate need for points, look to be dominating this particular one. We probably lay the draw second half in this one because of the need for points. I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks very much for coming along. Nice to see you all. And I will see you again probably on Wednesday, because I'm travelling overnight, Monday night. If I can get to the plane, of course, it's all dependent on the fog. And then I'll see you all again on Thai time on Wednesday. So that means there's not going to be too many midweek sessions because of the time difference, but I'll do as many as I can. As you know now, I'm keen to make some money. I can make 3 figures or more with a good session each day. So it's vital that I try my best to keep it up. Have a great day. Thanks a lot for coming along. I'll see you on Telegram for a little bit longer. Maybe like last night, I'll be up till 8 or 9 p.m. I need to make some cash, and you're going to be benefiting if I can. Have a great day.